How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. Feels like a little while since I've said my channel, and I've been doing a lot of AFTV stuff this past week, but I hope you guys have enjoyed that too. A couple of news dailies, supporters clubs come out today on William Saliba, who we're going to talk about now. And the supporters club is due out tomorrow as well on the priorities this summer. Obviously, going for Ben White, 50 million. For me, it's not making much sense. So I brought on Jordan and Julian to discuss that, and obviously today's William Saliba episode was with Lee Judges and Jordan. Hope you guys enjoy that. But today's about William Saliba, and I guess our defensive headlines over the past couple of days. We've obviously got the William Saliba rumours. We've got the Ben White 45 million rejection. Obviously, they want the 50 million a bit more up front. And we've also got the news that Mavropanos is going to Stuttgart again on loan with a 5 million obligation to buy. 5 million. Can you imagine that? Okay. We gave man a new contract last year to make 5 mil off him this year. It's not making sense. Let me see what the chat is saying anyway. I haven't even got used to this new setup. I was about to go to the laptop, but I can do the chat from here. Let's see. Big up Turkish. Our fan base thinks we have 250 million to spend. You know what? It's surprising to me because the last couple of news dailies I've done, the amount of responses that have, reminded me of 2017 when I first went on AFTV about being too negative and pessimistic and all of that shit. I thought we was done with all that. I thought we come to understand in terms of the majority of the fan base that everything around Arsenal right now is pretty dim. So there's not much I can do about that. But we'll get into some comments. Turkish, I read a written piece from a Belgian football expert on Lukanga, and he said he is a link player and needs a defensive midfielder next to him. So I would still expect us to sign a Basuma type. But at the same time, I've also, I haven't seen Basuma that much, but anytime I do watch Brighton play, I look out for him. This is why I say with Ben White, I don't have a clue about him because anytime I watch Brighton play, I'm looking out for Basuma because, he's head and shoulders in terms of what we need and standout talent at Brighton that I didn't think would be going for a Ben White. Obviously, if I had known prior, maybe I would have looked at him a bit more. But Basuma, to me, he's not an out-and-out defensive mid either, in my opinion. I think he can do the job. I'm not saying he won't be the right buy because I do want him. But I just feel like Lukanga is the replacement for or alternative to Basuma. That's just the feeling I get. Obviously, it's up to the club to change my mind. Listen, going into the summer, we needed at least 2 central midfielders on top of Xhaka, potentially leaving. That really makes it free. But knowing Arsenal, we'll probably get 2 over the line and that's it. Man like Turkish, how are you and the little lad doing? All good, just come back from swimming not too long ago. First swimming lesson for him. I say lesson, but it was more, I don't know what it was. It was a lesson, but yeah, he enjoyed it. As soon as he got home, went to sleep. So here I am doing, Rumour roundup and all that. Big up Highbury TV, Gunaveto, I see you. Come on. Love for the support over at AFTV as well, because I always see you there interacting, engaging in the comment section and whatnot. I wonder how high Ben White's ceiling is in comparison to Saliba, says Ashton. So do I. So I don't know their ceilings. All I know is when Saliba came to the club, a lot of people said, other big clubs wanted him. I'm not too sure about that, but it is what it is. Maybe they did. And, there was a bit of excitement around Saliba. 18 years old, you pay 30 million for him, and not only paying 30 million for him, but it's Arsenal Football Club. Even if Man City or Chelsea paid 30 million for an 18-year-old, it would kind of not send shockwaves around Europe, but it would definitely make people keep an eye out, let's say, let alone Arsenal doing that. That's what we done. And 2 years later, we're now asking about Ben White. This is what doesn't make sense. Someone said to me yesterday in my Instagram comment, don't you dare, I should bring it up now, but he said, don't you dare big up Ben White if he comes here and performs well, you miserable prick, or something like that. And I just thought to myself, I've never dissed Ben White. I've always, put my hands up and said, I don't know much about Ben White. He might come here and set the world alight. He might be the defender we've been missing since, Sol Campbell and all that. Who knows? But what I do know is that our priority should be in other positions. So people need to listen a bit more and, Take it in, take it easy. Lee says, why not just give the lad a chance? Can't do any worse than what we've had to put up with over the past decade and more. And that's, again, how I look at it. He will end up leaving us on a free without making an appearance. Well, this summer's a big one because obviously the rumours are, potentially he's going to have a sit-down meeting with Arteta and Edu before pre-season, which is coming up real soon. He's been selected by France for the Tokyo Olympics, so he'll be gone from, I believe, early to mid-July until potentially 8th of August, where I believe that is the final date. He'll miss the start of the season if he is to remain with us. But at the same time, those meetings with Arteta and Edu will pretty much tell us what we need to know, because off the back of those meetings, either the rumours, start picking up pace, or he slots in, someone comes out and says he's part of our team next season. Because what? Let me just go through the chat, because I'm going to talk about what I find funny soon. I doubt he'll end up leaving on a free, but with 2 years left next year, that's why this one's so vital. With 2 years left, the ball's pretty much in his court. And the way we've treated him, and I say that, not because Arteta sent him out on loan or didn't start him this season. I could understand why Arteta might have done that. But for example, pulling him out of the cup final for Saint Etienne and then not playing him for 6 months, looking back at it now, you can clearly see that's a, piss take. Why not allow him to play that cup final, get that experience, and potentially help his club win? We didn't allow that. We didn't allow him to play, didn't put him in any other squads. And understandably, he was upset about it. Now, how he reacted and going on Instagram and all of that stuff, I don't agree with that either. Two wrongs don't make a right, or whatever the saying is. At the end of the day, him doing that put himself in the firing line a bit as well, because it is childish. Yes, he's a young player, but at the same time, remain professional. You're on a good wage, even though it's not working out for you. Those outbursts, let me say, because that's how I look at it, that outburst about being free and all that with Fofana and Guendouzi, it can set the tone for the departure, for example. And it could give Arteta a ready-made excuse. If he's not feeling you as a player, and who is Arteta really to tell us who a player is when really he has no managerial experience to say he can pick out a player? Arteta can lean on attitude problems. That's why that remark on Instagram by Saliba, I didn't like it myself, but we've moved on from that. He's got past this video that leaked doing a madness in the French changing rooms or whatever that was. Let me not even remember. They got Real Ball Talk. Hope you're good, my guy. I was just watching your video, your latest video just before I went live. Make sure you guys check out Real Ball Talk. Good afternoon, Turkish. Says Alan, I don't trust Arteta to bring the team forward. And that's part of why I'm saying, some of these players, the truth will eventually show itself. But if you put yourself out there in terms of talking down about a manager online or acting up like Guendouzi did last season, then you're giving ready-made excuses that a manager can maybe deflect upon to get you out. And if you tell me attitude problems is the reason and you cite this, and that, I can understand that more than saying this player, even though Arteta has no managerial experience, attitude problems are attitude problems. You don't speak down about managers online, and you don't, especially not in your first, few months with him. That's how I see it. If it's maybe a year or two, I can understand a bit more frustration, but Saliba brought some problems onto himself there. Our sales are absolutely poor, says RZ. If that was Liverpool, they will get 15 mil. I guess you're talking about, is it Mavropanos there? I assume you are. What do you make of the Isak rumours? 70 mil? I didn't know much about him before this Euros tournament. Yes, in the Euros tournament, he has looked good. But that price tag is a hefty price tag. Who am I to care about price tags? As some fans like to remind me, it's not our money. I know it's not our money, but at the end of the day, I'd like it to be spent a bit more wisely, because just spending money for spending money's sake doesn't help anyone. In fact, if you're not going to spend the money wisely, you're better off not spending it at all, because spending it unwisely leads to contract issues, leads to players being overpaid, leads to wrong decisions, wrong positions, and all of that. And it can hold you back for years to come. So as much as we did, bang on about Kroenke needs to start spending money, that was in a period when he was selling all our assets, from Fabregas to Van Persie and so on, and not investing. Then it came to Ozil, Sanchez, and slowly but surely we invested. But still, even though Isak is a decent player and he looks like it could be a good buy. What's this thing doing? Can you not hear it echo or something? No, it's gone. It's gone. Game on tomorrow? Nah, Relentless don't have a game. Relentless don't have a game tomorrow. They are toxic positive fans. I hate to say it, but I've been called toxic negative over the years, but in reality, the positive fans are the ones that have, allowed this to happen in a sense. Ignore the haters, Turkish, you're a real one. I do. But certain time, it's all good and well talking amongst ourselves and, like-minded people, but you've also got to challenge some of these haters or some of the people that oppose your opinion or some of the people that disagree with certain elements of your opinion so you can hopefully open some eyes. Because if all eyes are not open yet, we've still got work to do. I like this question here. Would you take Sergio Romero and Van Arnold as backup keeper and left back, both free transfers? Yes, I would. Save funds for more important areas. Yes, I would. I think Romero, good enough backup, could even challenge Leno. I'm not saying he's a good enough number one, but in terms of what it seems like, and it doesn't seem like our budget is anywhere near that 250 million fucking Rumour. It's probably more around 100 million, if I'm honest. Especially when you hear Chris Wheatley saying that we're going to move on to player sales after Ben White and Lokanga come in, which is roughly 65, 70, 75 mil. So Romero, decent backup. Van Arnold, international, Premier League player. Why not? Why not? Just don't get bent over for the wages that you did Kolasinac, because even though Kolasinac was on a free, you could see how that deal 2-3 years later held the club back in certain elements. So it's give and take. It's all give and take. The owner, big up Knuckles. The owners know that they can do the Super League drama and get away with it. Fans are fickle. They have been doing bad business for years and keep getting away with it. Why would they change? No accountability. Yes, essentially the European Super League stuff kind of died down in terms of fans being upset about it. So you're right. I didn't really think about them looking at that as another obstacle they've overcome, in a sense. Yes, an obstacle they put out themselves, but it seemed that they've overcome it. Triple A says, Turkish, of course you're pessimistic. You can only be mugged off so many times before the trust and caring starts to diminish. 100%. And that goes to anything in any walk of life. Like if you feel mugged off year in, year out, your trust gets broken. You start not caring as much. You don't feel special in a sense. All of that, any walk of life, anything you put that to, any other brand you like, even if your partners, for example, like if your partner keeps on letting you down, okay, a few months in, you can talk about it, but year in, year out, and you're sticking together 15 years deep, like make it make sense. Sometimes, you just gotta cut ties. I'm all good, my bro. I hope you're good. Rob Holding should be sold. Average centre-back can't win a fucking header. A lot of people are telling me, I don't know that Saliba's going to be sold. Or I don't know he's unhappy. I don't know. But with Rob Holding signing a new contract in January, that tells me that he's going to be here at least a few more years. And then I think it was Chris Wheatley that said Arteta and Edu see Holding as part of the leadership group at the club. Let me sip my tea, man. Because I forgot about that. I didn't even write that down. I just remembered that now, and I'm glad I remembered it. My guy said Holding part of the leadership group. And people wonder why we're fucked. New players are coming in the leadership group. You got Rob Holding there just being introduced saying, yo, Rob, take this guy around. My man, the new signers don't even want to be playing with Rob, let alone being taken around by him. Rob Holding is actually part of so many wrong. He was. Let me not even start, because it's not his fault. Wenger did that whole, he's not worth 50 million thing. That's why you don't rate him. That's not Holding's fault. But Holding's been through a lot of fucking shit at this club. And I'm not saying he's been through it and he's not at fault. He's been part of that shit that's been going on at the club. So how he's part of a leadership group now, strictly by age and the amount of years he's been at the club. That is literally it. And I get it, but I don't get it. Because at the same time, the experience has let down manager after manager at this club. Man like Holdini, That's one thing I haven't missed at games. Silly chants about silly players. I've actually forgotten a few of them, but I'm glad. And that Holdini one just reminded me. Better than Cannavaro. Imagine we chant, not we, but yeah, we are. We Arsenal fans are we. But imagine that gets chanted at games. Rob Holding, he's better than Cannavaro. Anytime that gets chanted, I look around and just think to myself, let me see who's singing this, man. Mesut Ozil better than Zidane and all that. But sorry, please. We used to have some banging chants at Arsenal, And I get it, obviously our players are dead, so the chants are coming out about dead players. What can we do? But come on, man, have some respect for legends of the game. Real Ball Talk says, leadership group. What is this? Sounds like something from a corporate company. And then to add Holding to that, who shouldn't be here, is too funny. Was Xhaka there too? Listen, if the leadership group come about last summer, then definitely Xhaka was in that leadership group. No doubt about it. No two ways about it. 100%. Xhaka, Bellerin, Holding, maybe Chambers. These men were the leadership group. Just because they've been here for a few more years than the rest. Imagine that. What a leadership group. Imagine coming into that company. Feel sorry for some man. You start to feel sorry when you look back at Sanchez and at Van Persie, as much as, they see you next Tuesdays for what they did in the end. You can understand why they wanted to leave. I can't agree with their decision and club of choice, but I can understand why. Oh, what's going on, man? My nan's calling me. Okay, no worries. It's all good. Imagine Tony Adams around them. That's the thing. If you listen, Vieira, I remember off the top of my head, Vieira spoke about the impact Tony Adams had on him when he came into Arsenal Football Club. Vieira spoke about how important Tony Adams was to Vieira once Vieira got the captaincy, upon getting the captaincy. Because it was like he came in, there was a leadership group there, and there was a leader on top of that leadership group, and that's Tony Adams. And then he passed that on to Vieira, and Vieira was coached by Adams. Then it went to Henry, because Henry not wanted to leave, but it was rumored that he was going to leave. And then from there, the captaincy just was handed about. It wasn't really making sense. Fabregas got it at one point because we wanted him to stay at the club. Fabregas talked about that captaincy too, about how he got it too young, and a lot of the burden was on his shoulders at such a young age. Instead of the club building around him, the club put it all on him. So post Vieira, I'll include Henry in that, because the reasons for giving it to Henry were wrong. But of course, you'd rather have Henry as captain than some of the captains we've had over the last 10 years. But either way, when Kieran Tierney gets that captaincy, I don't think I've had as much hope in a captain since Vieira. So, and I'm not saying hope in Arsenal winning things and challenging, but I mean hope in having someone there that is down to earth, honest, is all about his football and cares. And I think Tierney ticks all of those boxes. Even when, look at Kitchen King saying Tierney's a leader. Even when he come out with that whole contract, he re-signed a new contract, you can see he cares a lot about. I saw not clips, but tweets that he said something about he didn't care about how much, he cared about how long. I'm not too sure how legit they are. Let me know in the comments if he actually did say that. But Tierney is, in terms of a captain, everything I'd want. Hopefully he can push on in the next 2 years and continue to build on it. But it is what it is. Let's see what's going on. Jake said we could buy 4 Brighton players. Well, to be honest, imagine if someone asked all of us if we're going to go for a Brighton player or 2 Brighton players, who would it be come end of the season? I'm sure most of us would have said Bissouma and Lamptey, right? But all of a sudden, everyone likes Ben White. Oh, he did say that, yeah? Right, we said that. Credit to him. Credit to him. The only leader we have is Kieran Tierney, and he's the only one that deserves the captaincy. And he has to remain fit. You're right, Raul. He has to remain fit. That it's a massive season for him in terms of that. Massive season. Big up Joey. Big up Turkish Jermaine. Man, I literally tried talking about Arsenal. I'm literally tired of talking about Arsenal because it just feels like it's going to be the same next season. It does. It really does. Man like Mo puts it into perspective. We have no leaders. From Adams, Vieira, Henry to Rob Holding, Xhaka and Bellerin. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It hurts to say those names to those names, you know. And it hurts to know that a lot of the people that watch me and a lot of the Arsenal fan base that are young didn't see that era. We've gone so far from it now that a lot of Arsenal fans haven't, didn't witness that. They wasn't a part of that. And that's sad to me because it was so great. And that's why I feel like I'm so angry at what I'm seeing nowadays. And I'm so upset at the way we move, To show Tierney cares, it didn't take long to get it done. Emil Smith-Rowe taking the piss. I don't think of it like that. But is that Emil Smith-Rowe as your DP? So do you like him or not? I don't know. But I didn't think of it like that. And I think the thing with Emil Smith-Rowe is, I don't know what the thing with Emil Smith-Rowe is. To be honest, he is lucky to be at the club. He's lucky to be, playing first team football. But at the same time, I wouldn't put it past this club to be taking the piss in terms of a contract offer, So I guess it's a bit more techie when it comes to attacking players. I think defensive players don't necessarily have the ego sometimes that the attacking players tend to have, or not as much. I feel like attacking players tend to have more of an ego because they're known as match winners for scoring goals and creating chances, whereas defenders, when they're winning matches by making tackles and interceptions and all that, it's their job, it's their job. So I feel like maybe that's a difference in getting the deals done with Emil Smith-Rowe. First big contract, that's true. So let him take his time. Sorry, Yo here. The armband means little. Gerrard and Totti were exemplary leaders but required greater sides. Well, it means, I wouldn't say it means little, because Gerrard and Totti are legends of the club. And Gerrard and Totti are legends of the game as well, not even just the club. They're legends in football, in a footballing sense. And I think part of that is their leadership qualities, the fact they captained and they won stuff, Oh, I can't remember what Roma won, but Roma did win a couple of things with Totti there. But Liverpool, Champions League, with Gerrard and Totti, I know what you're saying. It's not the be-all and end-all, but at Arsenal, we lack everything. Not only do we lack a captain, but in essence, we lack good corner takers, free kick takers, and all of this shit. So it'd be nice to have a captain back in the side. Nice to have someone that we can listen to before and after a game and trust a bit. So that's my thing on it. But you are right. It doesn't, nothing changes with the captain. Thoughts on City getting Grealish? I guess that puts an end to the Arsenal getting Grealish rumours. Turkish bro, if you could cop from each of the other big 6 sides, who would you take? Who would I take from the other big 6 sides? Man City. You'd have to say De Bruyne, right? But I think Diaz is a shout as well. So it would depend who I'm taking off the other sides to determine whether I'd want Diaz or De Bruyne from Man City, if I'm honest. Then again, you have Foden too, but then we have our own young talent. So let me get back to you on that one. I feel like he's signed already, but Arsenal haven't announced it. Says Jamal. Maybe they're waiting to fuck up another transfer deal before announcing that to take our mind off things. Thoughts on Andre Silva? I'd definitely be interested. I'm not saying I'm sold on him, but at the same time, Arsenal can't get players that I'm sold on that are guaranteed to come and make an impact. So we're going to have to take a risk or an under the radar signing. But at the same time, like you said, Andre Silva scores goals. He's got a good record. So if he becomes available, it will be mad. Big up KG. I hope you're good, my guy. It's been a little while. Totti won the league with Roma. Yeah, when they bought Batistuta from Fiorentina. I thought so, because when you think about Totti, he goes back years at Roma. Years. Man like Batistuta, gave it his all at Fiorentina and it didn't work out. Big up him as well. Reminds me of Henry. Gave it all at Arsenal and Champions League didn't work out. He just had to bounce quickly and get that one under his belt. Nocturnal, hope you're well, my guy. Don't think I haven't forgot about the FIFA thing. We're going to make sure we do that October when the new one comes out. If it makes sense, we don't do it. It's the Arsenal way. More time, yeah. That's why I'm saying, and I said it on News Daily yesterday on AFTV, I think make it make sense should be the slogan for fans to Arsenal. Because it's not making sense. I saw we were linked to Renato Sanchez. Thoughts, well, he's had a good tournament, I guess. He's had a good game here or there. But when he came to England, Swansea, when he went to Bayern, and it just didn't work out. I feel like he isn't the type of character mentally that we need. In my honest opinion, I need people that are a bit stronger than. For example, look, it didn't work out at Bayern. I can understand that. He moved there young. But he hasn't picked up since, and a couple of good performances at the Euros ain't going to make me change my mind on that. He went to Swansea and he didn't stand out. So, man said the smoke is pending. Second Ben White bid rejected. What, the 45 million? Well, apparently it's 45 million plus 5 million in add-ons, and Brighton want 50 million. Let me just tell you guys now, if you've got 250 million to spend and you've got a top target there, and they want 50 million, and you're haggling because you want 45 plus 5, that team hasn't got a big transfer budget. That team is probably waiting to see how much we get White over the line for before getting Lokanga over the line. And then, like Chris Wheatley said, go back to player sales, hope to recoup about 30, 40 million, and then maybe go back in for one more player. No 2-3 players is going to change anything at Arsenal Football Club right now. Because, look, we're going to buy Ben White. That's one signing. We're going to buy Lokanga, that's 2 signings. And let's say the third signing is James Maddison. Let's say it's James Maddison, yeah? Let's just go to the other end of the spectrum and just say James Maddison. Sounds good, right? It sounds good, yeah? Until Tierney gets injured and Kolasinac is there. Until you start seeing Bellerin starting right back again for us, or Chambers. Until there's one injury in the middle and then you see El Nene, Xhaka, or someone back in there. So 3 players is not enough. This is why this whole, dilly-dallying over 10% with Buendia. Listen, sorry. If let's say Man United all of a sudden came and said to Brighton, 50 million, Ben White, they'd get the deal done. Same way Aston Villa came in and then took Buendia from under our noses. The people turned around and said he's not our priority. When you do business in the way Arsenal do business, you leave the door open for other clubs to sniff around and think, hold on, let me get some of that. With Ben White, okay, cool, no one wants him. That's fine. But the proof is there that yet again, this club isn't moving proactive enough. Firstly, Buendia, argue all you want about main target or not. We went for Buendia first in the window, attacking midfielder, and we haven't gone for anyone seriously since, have we? So he must be. Because even after Lokanga and Ben White, we're going to have to make player sales before we then go back in for an attacking mid. The club have already highlighted we need it. And then Ben White, 45 mil, 40 mil, rejected. All it takes is one other big club to come in and just say, here you go. Here you are, take it. And Ben White will just go over there. You think Ben White cares that much about Arsenal to pick us over a club that's into top 4? Come on. So I tend to look at that more than I look at anything else. Let's see what Hamza's saying. Big up Turkish, big fan of your channel. Should I be hopeful this season with Arteta still in charge? If I answer that question, it sounds like I'm saying don't be hopeful because Arteta's in charge. That is one of the reasons not to be hopeful. Yes, Arteta's still in charge. Edu's our director of football. Kroenke's our owner. We're not going in for a right back, so it seems like Bellerin and Chambers might be, starting for us next season. Big problem. We haven't gone in for a backup left back yet. Patrick Van Arnold's available on a free. Surely it makes sense. The guy even lives in London, but we haven't gone in for anyone. So there's so many reasons not to be hopeful so far about this season, then that I can't pin it all on Arteta. But yeah, I can answer the question. There's not much to be hopeful for. Or shall I lower my expectations? Well, after finishing 8th 2 seasons in a row, Hamza, let me know what your expectations actually are. A big club, regardless of an 8th place finish or a 10th place finish like Chelsea did one year, or when United finished 7th, a big club expects to finish in the top 4, having done what they need to do in a transfer window. But at the same time, we know that's not realistic because Arsenal Football Club, as much as we're big maybe on paper financially, we're not big on the pitch, quality-wise. So, shall I lower my expectations? It depends. If your expectations are around 7th, 8th again, then I'd say bang on. But if your expectations are top 4, then yeah, might have to lower them a bit, my guy. But hope you're well. Big up you. Come on. Love. Arteta claims he's being backed. They have been working on deals for a season or more. Why haven't we completed our business? Kroenke out, Arteta out. Very true. Very true. And people say I'm on too much about little things like being proactive in the market. You should be proactive in the market. You should get deals done early. It makes the most sense. Hence, make it make sense. But Arsenal don't. Yes, Ginny, the fam's all good. I hope yours and everyone's all well, and you, my guy. Even if we spend big this summer, I honestly don't understand where fans get this excitement from. The two main things that can affect the club is the owner and the manager, and they're still the same. Very true. I've been white my whole life. Jake. Clubs miss out on targets all the time. Pep wanted Alexis, Fred, Jorginho to name a few. It is what it is. We move. They do miss out on targets, but at the same time, I wouldn't say City miss out on more targets than they don't, for example. Arsenal do. Every year, Arsenal are missing out on not only targets, but top targets. So I think it's a bit of an unfair comparison, if I'm honest. Because even with Pep Guardiola, he's got more of a plan. Pep's plan A and plan B are quality. Our plan A is of different quality to plan B. To be honest, our plan A sometimes is a different position to plan B, which doesn't make fuck all sense regardless. So it's about getting these little things right. If you need an attacking mid, have a list of 3. Good quality, similar traits that we can understand why you're going for them. Not 1 minute Buendia, who operates more on the right, coming in centrally, or Odegaard, who's a bit more laid back on the ball, let's say, or Maddison, who's much more energetic and plays more centrally. As much as they're 3 attacking mids, they're also very different attacking mids. Yes, they're number 10s, and yes, they can play in off the wing, but I just don't understand what he's trying to do. 1 minute Neves, 1 minute Lakanga, Basuma, and let me not say Basuma because that's just us fans. I haven't seen any reliable links to Arsenal Football Club. It's Lakanga and Neves. And at the end of the day, yes, we need both profiles, I'd say, but you can't have Lakanga plan A and Neves plan B because they're different central midfielders. Big up Turkish. With no Champions League and Europa League distractions, surely this is a clear run. You taking the piss or what? To win the Premier League for Arsenal. Clear run. Let's see how that one goes. I don't even know. Listen, someone said, see that Snapchat. This is definitely tongue in cheek. It's definitely come back to me because I can't like I've seen you on the channel before, but I can't remember if you're an Arsenal fan or if you might be trying to, a low blow right here. Dead's big up Damien. Hope you're good, my guy. Haven't talked in a little while, but I hope you're well. Rob holding his shit. Even if we get ballers this season, Arteta is not the man to get the best out of them. Facts. Having Arteta will make a lot of players turn us down. Not how they're selling it to us. Every new player that comes in, it's like, Arteta, he was a big part of why I'm here. He's a big part of why I signed the contract. Let's see what's going on. Odegaard can't take us to the next level. Maddison can. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. Banter club, banter fans. That's fair enough too. I can't even lie. Turkish, have you seen Holding could go where for 30 mil? What? 30 million what? Again, I'm going to say Turkish lira because Alfie, mate. I don't know about all that. What's going on with the chat, man? Everything's just... Oh, okay. We're back. Sorry, the chat was just moving a bit slow. Big up Turkish. Leicester have already signed Daka, Soumare and Bertrand. Have they already signed them? Have they actually already signed them? To be honest, I haven't been paying attention to any other transfer news apart from Arsenal's, and even then it's loosely. Have they actually signed all three of them players? Leicester, they haven't, have they, Glenn? But Leicester are always on some good business, though. I've seen them linked with Samar and Edward and so on. They do some good business. I'll have to give it to them. He'll go for max 20 mil. The worrying thing is that there is no plan. That's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. This is why a director of football that you can trust is so key, because then regardless of what manager you bring in, you have a director of football buying players, buying a profile of players, and then if a managerial change is required, that director of football knows the exact profile of players he's been buying, searches the market for a manager that works with this profile of players and gets the job done. But instead, you got one director of football buying William Saliba, Martinelli, and Pepe and all this. Then another director of football comes in with another manager that comes in that doesn't start Pepe, hasn't given Saliba a chance, and so on. That's why it's just madness. And this is all post-Wenger stuff. We've already gone through madness with Wenger. So many examples with Wenger of poor business, just poor acquisitions, poor sales, everything dead. And even in the 3 years since, we've seen more examples where we don't need to even use the Wenger examples anymore. There's so many more new examples being fed. Willian last year. That's an example. Turkish, is your son an Arsenal fan or does he have a trace? He's an Arsenal fan, man. At the end of the day, he's going to be coming to games with me from young. So he's an Arsenal fan. Like look around. Yeah, I know this is a little studio setup, but those are my shirts. I've got signed shirts. I've got things on the wall. Like he's gonna grow up around the badge. He's gonna grow up around his dad loving the club and going to games, and I do dread when he goes to school and if he ever comes home and says, "Dad, like the kids have got to me today, like they're just chatting shit about Arsenal." I think that will touch me. Because I know already I'm going to have to give him that, listen, son, it might not happen in the next 5 years. It might not happen in the next 10 years. It might not happen in the next 20. It might not even happen at all. But if it does happen, son, it's going to be worth it. I can imagine having that talk with him in 5, 6 years when well, not 5, 6, but in 7, 8 years when he's in school. Turkish, can you show me your favorite shirt? I'm gonna do a show on the shirts behind me and a vintage seller as well. Like I said, I'm gonna do a show on it soon. I'm waiting to see when the home kit's gonna be released, so I can kind of hopefully try and push people towards vintage sellers rather than buying that new home kit that's due to come out. Man saying commiserations for a fellow Gooner. Big up Taylor, man. Smash the likes, people. And subscribe. Not enough likes. Come on, people. Make sure you hit the like button. I haven't even reminded you guys. How many years do you think it will go before our best players like Tierney, Saka, and Smith Rowe will consider moving on if we don't start competing? In all honesty, I could see it happening in 2 years. And maybe not with Tierney because of this new contract, but with Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, Martinelli, I can see happening next year, depending on what happens with him this season and how much game time he gets and how important he is. So with Martinelli, I can see it happening next summer. With Pepe, I can see it happening next summer again, depending on how much, time and he gets and consistency he gets and favoritism he gets and all that. So there's players that, in my opinion, have not been part of the major problem over the last 5 years that could potentially want out next season. Martinelli, Pepe, Saliba's already questioning things. These are players that I thought would potentially help us turn a corner and start a new wave. But the turnaround is too mad. Torreira, Guendouzi, in, out 2 years. And I get it, that's what we need to be doing. But at the same time, the value has dropped off so much that it's highlighting how poor the business has been. So yeah, Tierney maybe 3 years, Saka and Smith Rowe I'd say 2 years, and Martinelli and Pepe I'd say next season. They all become problems. Brother Turkish, hope you and your family are well. All good, my bro. I hope you and yours are well too. Nice to see you back as well, a regular supporter of the channel. Turkish, it isn't worth it. Send the little one our way. Bro, Ginny, how old are you, my guy? Let me know how old you are here. Because Liverpool are a great example. All those Liverpool fans that I grew up with, yeah. And I used to ask, like, why do you support Liverpool? And they used to tell me, like, dad or uncle or, something. When you're an Arsenal fan growing up, winning stuff, arguing with United fans, you'd get a few Liverpool fans, and it just didn't make sense. But tell them it doesn't make sense now. Tell them it doesn't make sense now. That weight probably made the title and the Champions League so much greater. So for me, Ginny, I think you of all people should know that, sometimes you got to ride those rough patches, my guy. You got to ride those rough patches. And I know Liverpool still won cups in between, obviously, the leagues, but it was a little weight for that league. And I'm sure that weight added to I know lockdown, ruined the party in the end, but a league title is a league title. Theo says, Turkish, I hope you're good, bro. Do you trust this board to make the right quality signings? Because I don't, and that really scares me. The sooner this Mickey Mouse regime leaves, the better. You know me, Theo. I don't trust this board to get anything done right. That's not a question for me anymore. I don't think people should ask me that question because I don't think it's a question anymore. It's facts that they can't get it done. The sooner this Mickey Mouse regime leaves, the better. I just said that again because it's the truth. I can agree with that bit. Turkish, read the comments from Banksy. It's scary that there are fans that still want to give this ownership and board more chances. Let's see. Banksy, where are we? Are you talking? Is he in the chat? Is the person in the chat, or am I? Or is that someone on Twitter that I need to look for? The only Banksy I know does graffiti on walls, mate. If we somehow get all our top targets, what was that one? Top 4? Nah, because I don't even know who our top targets are. Taylor says, I agree. I can't see Martinelli sticking around if Arteta keeps messing around with him. I can see maybe he's doing a pet thing with Foden, but the quality of exactly. The thing about Foden can trust Pep. Foden can trust that the players, he can trust Pep, and he knows that the players in front of him are challenging for the highest of honours. Martinelli, can he trust Arteta? And when he looks at the players playing ahead of him, what the fuck are they challenging for? The lowest of honours. Banky, I don't know where is this person? He's in the chat. Why can't I see? I haven't seen one comment from that name. If you're in the chat, come to the chat and say it again, whatever you've been saying anyway. It's good to have people that think differently. So I can shut people down in a new way. Turkish, which players have you been impressed with so far during the Euros? Impressed with in terms of Arsenal potentially signing for Arsenal? Is that what you mean? Because if that's what you mean, obviously Sabitza's got a year left on his contract, and Sabitza's a decent player. And in terms of depth in the middle, I'd take him. Isak looks good, but again, 70 million is a mad price, and the pressure comes on straight away. You see, 7:42 a.m. My timing's all different. So you mean 12:42 for me? Sorry, Taib, I know you. 12:42. Nah, there's nothing there. Oh, there we are. There we are. Here we are. So let's get this one out. I hope you're still here. Do let me know. We've got. Oh shit. I'm getting used to this new iPad pen thing, and it's just. There we are. Must feel nice as a fan to constantly demean and make a mockery of the actions of the club you so claim to love and support, without even giving them a chance to rewrite their wrongs. I assume that's what you're trying to say. Stop the cynicism, man. Okay, so where do we start with this one here? It must feel nice as a fan to constantly demean. Okay, let me just bring the comments back to the bottom just so I don't miss no new comments. Okay, we're back. It must feel nice as a fan to constantly demean. Has it felt nice to be constantly bent over by this owner year upon year upon year? I've only been on AFTV since 2017. In 2017, go look at where we was, what we was doing. It wasn't what we should be doing. So this whole demean, like what have the club done to us to warrant me speaking in this manner? That's what you've got to look at. And then you go on to say, make a mockery of the actions of the club. Did I reject the bid for Kieran Gibbs at 14 mil and then go back and sell him to the same club for 10 mil? Did I do that? Did you do that? Did Taylor do that? Omar in the chat? Who done that? Did I do that? Because that's a mockery, no? Did I go and give Ozil 350k and then tell the fans 2 years later that we can only loan players because our wage structure's fucked? Did you do that? Taylor, Omar, me, Robbie, James, was it any of us? No? That's a mockery of the club. Did I offer 40 million and a pound for Suarez? Was that me? Or you? Or not? Or was it the club? Oh, it was the club again, making a mockery. I see. 5 captains. Mockery. Highest ticket prices in Europe because of the football on show. Direct quote from Mr. Arsene Wenger. Mockery. 8-2 to United. Mockery. 10-2 to Bayern. Mockery. So, it doesn't make sense. And you know what's the funniest thing? And I see it all about, the negativity sells, and AFTV are only big because of negativity, and fan channels are only big because of negativity. People say that so confidently. 4-1 Chelsea Baku. Thank you, Floyd. People say that so confidently. I wonder if he's still here. I think he just came in and that just to chat shit. Oh, there he is. Yes, I am still here, sir. Let's talk. Well, let me finish first and then we'll continue talking. So where was he? Making a mockery of that. So as I've explained, the club have made a mockery of themselves. We was a top 5 global business in 2006. In 2021, we're fucked. That's a mockery. All of these things are a mockery. Going to Lille and getting Javinho instead of Hazard is a mockery. Selling Van Persie to United is a mockery. Letting Fabregas go to Chelsea and win league titles is a mockery. Being in the Europa League, then dropping out of the Europa League into nothing is a mockery. So let me just get this super chat out as well. Love your work, Turkish, especially on AFTV, but I do think this signing of Ben White is to replace Luiz and not Saliba. John, I'd be more than happy if we if we kept Saliba and then we see Ben White come in, we buy a central midfielder, defensive midfielder, a right back. I'm happy in that situation. So, you know, we will see. We will see in the next 6 weeks how this window works out and whether this Ben White deal makes sense or it doesn't. We needed backup in that area. That's fair too. That's fair too. Again, I'd assume Holding should be out next because Holding's been part of the mess that was created, and you know he thrived in it too. Let me say. So depth is required, but I think you look at starting 11 before depth in some other positions, and that's my worry. But we'll see come the end of the season. Big up David. I see you sent a super chat. Triple H WWF thing. It is what it is. The game. Hope you're well, my guy. So where are we, Banky? Where are we? Make a mockery of the actions of the club. Okay, so I'm not even going to ask you, did I prove it? I've just proven that bit wrong, making a mockery of the actions of the club because the actions of the club make a mockery of us. Yeah? Okay. Claim to love and support. Yeah, I do love and I do support. But at the end of the day, let's just say I have a wife that can't cook. I love her, I support her, but she can't fucking cook, mate. So why would, what's it gonna, can't you be critical of something you love and support? Of course you can. Of course you can. So I don't understand this whole you love support, you got to put a blindfold on and fucking act like everything's rosy. That doesn't make no sense. Even giving them a chance to rewrite their wrongs. How many chances do they need? How many chances do they need? They were trying to rewrite wrongs from the end of the Fabregas era. That's when the British course started. Yeah? So the British course started because firstly, Wenger and the club took a midfield that was working wonders and changed the format a bit. Looking at Barcelona, Spain, okay, they changed the format, tiki-taka, small, diminutive midfielders, Hele, Brzezinski, Fabregas, okay, cool. They changed that. It didn't work. Nasri left, Fabregas left. I remember Wenger came out and said, we trusted in young foreign players, but we were wrong because foreign players are not to be trusted in a sense. That's the way he kind of put it. So we went for a British core. We had Jenkinson, Gibbs, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jack Wilshere, Aaron Ramsey. We had Wenger there like this over them. You know, they're all there signing a contract. And that was sold to me like, yo, trust this process. It's a British core. You know, Ramsey rejected Man United for us. Oxlade was wanted, but okay, British core. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. How did that one work out? Oxlade left to go Liverpool. You know, Ramsey left on a free. Jenkinson, he never left till he had to leave. Gibbs, like I just said, we got offered 3 million more for Gibbs from West Brom, and then we ended up selling him for less in that same window. Make it make sense, Arsenal. So how many times can we give them a chance to rewrite their wrongs? Following the British core, you kept Wenger on for too long. Keeping Wenger on for too long was another wrong. Then you brought in Unai Emery, didn't give him the players he wanted, and then sacked him. Wrong. Arteta, you bring in Edu, inexperienced people. Eighth. I don't understand how many chances people need. You know, I don't know how many chances people need. I really don't. Was that the end of the chat? Stop the cynicism. Okay, that is the end of the chat. Banky, I hope to see your comment again soon. Man said Banky is Kroenke's fake account. So yeah, there we are. Let me see. David, you follow that super chat Triple H up. Turkish, I think Banky is Arteta in disguise. We've had Arteta, Edu, and Kroenke. Where's that gone? David, here we are. For me, as long as incomings have that winning mentality and quality and outgoings are dealt with, I'm good. Also, 99% of the players linked to us, I ignore. 100%, you got to ignore it, my bro. We've spoken and we're very like-minded in that sense that all these in the knows and journalists on Twitter, they don't know much. Yeah. And what they do know is what they're told. And unless a player is unhappy and an agent is unhappy with their player's situation and is looking to cause a storm, the journalists just cause the storm themselves by the way they word some of these things. Sometimes it's all about wording, and then that gets them out of it when it doesn't happen because the way they worded something in talks. Oh, when we say in talks, it doesn't necessarily mean the deal's going to get done. So, well, don't fucking tell us we're in talks then. You know, like, why is, when I look at the average number of journalists on Twitter, is it just me or is it like, for every 100 Arsenal journalists, there's like 50 United journalists, 20 Liverpool, 10 Chelsea, and 5 Man City. Because I'm not seeing no rubbish about any other. Well, Tottenham are up there too, because their managerial thing is a merry-go-round. But Tottenham have always been a joke, let's be honest. We've come to join them as a joke, but I hear most of your points. However, hindsight is amazing. My question to you as a fan page is, how does constantly overflogging a dead horse, Kroenke, tearing into Arteta over speculations help us? Tearing into Arteta, those words are quite harsh for someone who hasn't tore into Arteta. Arteta, for me, is inexperienced. Again, that's a fact. If I call Arteta inexperienced, that's not me tearing into him. He would tell you himself he's inexperienced. He's learning on the job. It's another fact. This is his first managerial job. He's a year and a half in. Banky, if you go and get a new job, a new role that you're not familiar with in a new company, you're going to need time to adjust, especially if it's a role in this manner, in this shape, and the duty that you had to do in an overhaul, massive. So this is not me tearing into Arteta. These are the plain facts that probably make up the reasons why we haven't kicked on like we should. I'm not blaming Arteta for this. I'm blaming Kroenke for this. Now, you're saying overflogging a dead horse. If you look at fan channels in general, how many fan channels, when the going gets tough, talk about Arteta more than Kroenke? Or talk about Emery more than Kroenke? Or talk about Wenger more than Kroenke? Pretty much, 8-9 channels out of 10 talk more about the manager and maybe the director of football than the owner, right? So I don't feel like I'm overflogging a dead horse with Kroenke, because he's far from dead. He's just probably overcome his biggest battle with the fans yet. That protest before Everton was massive. The protest before Brighton wasn't so much. Best believe they saw the numbers dwindle. Best believe they, smiled at that, because they've essentially got away with it again. So until we're back at that stage where it was Everton levels of protest, numbers, passion, I'm going to continue talking about Stan Kroenke, because I just feel like, why should I change it's not even why should I change, because that would make it seem like I can change. This is not an act. Like when I'm watching Turkey in the Euros and I'm flipping, that's not an act. More time with Turkey, I don't expect nothing from them, and they excel, and that excites me. This tournament, I expected something off them from once, and they fucked me. But that's real. Am I like that with Arsenal? Not as much as I used to be. But when a season starts, up until I realized that, yeah, this season is exactly the same as last season, I'm exactly the same way. But then when I start realizing that this season is pretty much like the last season, and over the last couple, it's been 3-4 games in that I realized that, it's hard for me mentally to overcome and then act like everything's rosy, Banky. Because everything's not rosy, So I don't know. How does it help us? So I'll fling something back to you. How does not talking about it help us? How does not mentioning that the owner's poor? How does not mentioning Arteta's inexperienced? How does not mentioning the quality of players are not good enough? How does not mentioning that our priorities are all over the place gonna help? If I sat here and I just said, how's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Ben White. We're about to sign the next Tony Adams, 50 million. Look at these lot laughing at us. It means nothing, people. We're going to do it. We're going to bring it home. It's not coming home at the Euros. It's coming home this season for Arsenal. Like, what's that going to do for us? That doesn't do anything for Arteta, for the players, for the board, for the owner. Like me mentioning the reality at the football club, essentially hasn't done nothing, because I've been banging on about it for 4 years and the numbers have got greater, but that's through nothing of me. It got greater because they tried to do a Super League. So I'd like to hear your response to that. Just one question, How does not talking about it help? You asked me, how does talking about it help? How does not talking about it help? Let me catch up with the chat. Never change Turkish. You are the reason this club should be where it should be. The media chat is there to frustrate us. It's an emotional roller coaster and a waste of energy. 100%. Smash the like button. Great debate. Here we are again. For all the points you've made, Turkish, I can equally give you enough points to counter. I only wish this was a voice conversation rather than me having to type. I would so love to call in one day. And I do want to bring in a call-in show. I do really want to do that because I like engaging with fans, and I even like this conversation here. You know, like don't get it twisted. I've got friends that support Arsenal that we have these same conversations in person. Obviously, when you're talking about it with friends, you can be a bit more, you know, not aggressive with it, but you can be a bit more like, are you all right? And like, you all right? Obviously, when I'm talking to you guys, yes, I've grown to know some of you and become friends and whatnot. But in general, we like I try and keep it respectful, and I engage, and I'm open to learning as much as I'm open to opening some eyes. We've just passed 1 o'clock, people, as well. That means we've just passed an hour. Arsenal fan for 24 years. Our decline is a madness. We have to come together as a collective to change the trajectory of this team. And that's part of why I try and bang on about it so much. You know, when I was at that protest at Everton, it was one of the proudest, not one of the proudest moments ever as an Arsenal fan, but definitely one of the proudest I've been in the last 10 years as an Arsenal fan, because fans were out there together, you know, one voice, one message, and it was in numbers. A bit of rain stopped that. Can't wait for that. So yeah, 100%. Real ball talk, big up you. I need to work out how to do this call-in thing. I need to work out how to, you know, eliminate some of these trolls that will come in and try and chat shit. Because I can't have someone calling in and saying a mad thing on my channel, like, you know, so I need to do it in a way where the people I have on, I trust to have respect for the channel that they're on, and respect for me not to be going crazy with what they're saying. Josh says, I'm 14. I kind of don't want to be this pessimistic. Yeah. Listen, again, the age plays a part, I guess. Being 14 and being like me would probably be a fucking downer, I can't lie. When it comes to Arsenal Football Club anyway. And I see a lot of comments saying like, oh, you should stop supporting Arsenal. Oh, Turkish must be depressed in life. Listen, I've had a child this year. Lockdown's been good to me. Everything in life is great at the moment, apart from Arsenal Football Club. And then, yeah, Turkey have added themselves to the list. So you might as well say apart from football. Everything else is great. It's just football that lets me down. And it happens to be that the platform I have and you've helped me create is about football. If it was about other things, maybe then you'd see a bit more excitement. But if you're 14, if you're, you know, if you're young, you've got to be more hopeful and you've got to chat shit, because I guess that's all you have when you're young. But I'm coming from a time when I was young, I could chat shit. It's a very difficult one. Listen, I'm 30 plus now, so I can't tell a teenager how to feel and how to act. Grizz Teta. I said, you look stressed. Love Turkish, love the Turkish vibe, keeping it 100. People, I'm gone though, man. Listen, I've been here over an hour. I need to go to my nan's, like I said, do her shopping and all of that. Busy day ahead. Love for the love as always. Hit the like button as always. I don't think we're close to even 500 yet, let alone 1,000, but we've got 600 people still here. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Collabs will come soon. Again, obviously, I was doing a lot of collabs earlier on in the season, but now life has changed a bit. Little one, AFTV, all of this stuff. I have to get things flowing again. I've managed to keep Big Six alive. The Rumour roundup is back, and next season I'm hoping to bring back Real Recognize Real with rants. I missed that show, and obviously go back into some of the other shows we saw last season. Until then, people, take care. Come on, Ginny, I see you. Love and peace, and as always, love for the